You wake up before your alarm. 4:45 a.m., Pripyat, April 1986. It's a small apartment like every other one in this town. A photograph on the shelf, a jacket by the door. Nothing about this morning feels different from any other. You've worked at the plant for 2 years now. You know every hallway, every gauge, every sound the reactors make when everything is normal. You know which doors stick. You know which vending machine eats your coins. Tonight there's a routine safety test scheduled on Reactor 4. You've heard about it in passing, a delay in the schedule, a test that got pushed back a full shift. Nothing you haven't heard before. Routine. You have no idea that in less than an hour, you'll be standing at the edge of the worst nuclear accident in history, and that your odds of walking away safely will come down to choices made in the next few minutes, choices you won't even realize you're making. 1:23 a.m. You're on your way to grab a coffee when the ground shifts beneath you. Not an earthquake, something else. Something you don't have a word for yet. A sound like nothing you've heard before, a deep, hollow boom that seems to come from everywhere at once, followed by a second one right behind it. You freeze. So does everyone around you. But here's the problem, nobody seems to fully understand what just happened. Alarms are going off down every corridor, but the explanations are already confused before they've even started. Someone says a tank ruptured. Someone else says it's nothing, go back to your post. Nobody sounds certain. You step outside to see for yourself. You look toward Reactor 4. Where roof used to be, there's now open sky, and rising out of that gap, a strange, glowing light climbing into the night air, brighter than anything a fire should produce. Here's where everything changes. That light isn't fire in the way you understand fire. It's the reactor core itself, exposed to open air for the first time ever at a working power station, something that, until this exact moment, almost nobody believed was even possible. And this is the part that should terrify you more than the blast itself. Nobody standing outside that night can see the real danger. It's riding the smoke, invisible, odorless, silent. There's no smell warning you to step back, no sound telling you to run. Every instinct you'd normally rely on to sense danger is useless here. Your odds right now don't depend on how fast you can think, or how brave you are. They depend on one thing only, how close you are standing, and how long you stay there without knowing it. Emergency crews arrive within minutes. Firefighters climb toward the wreckage wearing standard uniforms, no specialized protection, because nobody has told them yet what they're truly walking into. As far as they know, this is a fire like any other. They fight it like one. Inside the plant, workers are given instructions to keep working, to stabilize the other reactors, to keep the whole site from getting worse, unaware of exactly how serious their own situation already is. Meanwhile, less than 2 miles away, the town of Pripyat sleeps through the night completely undisturbed. No sirens reach their windows. No announcement crackles over the radio. Families wake up the next morning to a light dusting of what looks like ash falling gently from a clear spring sky. Some assume it's pollen. Children play in the schoolyard as it settles on their jackets. Life, for one more day, looks completely ordinary. That's only the beginning. For 36 hours, nobody in Pripyat is told to evacuate. Officials debate behind closed doors. They delay. They downplay what's happened, worried more about panic and political fallout than about the people going about their Saturday just a few kilometers from an open reactor core. Couples walk along the river. A wedding takes place in town that afternoon, guests posing for photos beneath a sky that looks completely normal. Then things got even worse. By the time buses finally arrive, a convoy over 1,000 vehicles long, residents are told they'll only be gone for 3 days. Pack light. You're coming back soon. Almost nobody who boards those buses that afternoon will ever live in Pripyat again. And that's when everything changed on a scale nobody had prepared for. As the true size of the disaster becomes clear, hundreds of thousands of people are eventually called in from across the country to help contain it. Engineers, soldiers, miners, pilots, in an operation that will stretch on for years, not days. So what were your odds if you were a firefighter on the roof that first night, working directly beside the exposed core with no specialized protection? Your odds of avoiding serious harm were extremely low. Many of that first response crew did not survive the weeks that followed. If you were a plant worker further from the reactor hall, your odds were meaningfully better, but still serious, and they depended almost entirely on exactly where you happened to be standing and how quickly you were pulled out of the building. If you were a resident of Pripyat, evacuated within that first day and a half, your odds of long-term serious harm were far better than the responders. though the town you left behind that afternoon, expecting to return in 3 days, would never be lived in again. Notice what actually decided the outcome here. Not bravery, not fitness, not preparation. Distance, timing, and information, 3 things almost nobody in this story had any real control over. Pripyat still stands today, nearly 40 years later. Empty apartment blocks lean quietly into overgrown streets. A rusting Ferris wheel, installed for a May Day fair that never opened. Classrooms still have books open on the desks, exactly where they were left that Saturday afternoon. What makes Chernobyl different from almost every other disaster in this series isn't fire, or water, or collapsing ground. It's that the danger was invisible, and the people caught in it had no way to sense it at all. No smell, no sound, no warning. If you had been there that night, your odds wouldn't have come down to courage or instinct or how fast you could run. They would have come down to something far simpler and far more unsettling: how far away you happened to be standing when the world changed, and whether anyone told you in time.